Helmut Dollinger, welcome to Train Like a Monk. We are here in Warragam Park Hotel for the Classics, and I've interviewed a few riders for this so far, and I thought it would only be good that I get my coach on here. So Helmut was a coach previously at Bora Hansgrohe, and I'm sure plenty of other places, and our team, Q36.5, saw what he was doing, thought he was a pretty good coach and thought we'd get him on board, and I think I agree with our team because I've made some big improvements since starting with Helmut. So Helmut, welcome to Train Like a Monk.
Welcome.
So
I was 7 years in Bora.
7 years.
No other teams before.
No other teams before Bora?
Not so much.
And what were you doing before you were coaching at Bora?
Some professional riders.
Yep.
And also my wife, she was professional triathlete.
Yep.
In the Olympics and
Ironman. Oh, nice. I coached my girlfriend as well, so we have this in common.
Okay.
But I'm here. I just had a massage and a nap this afternoon. We're resting between the Classics today. What are you doing here while we're at the Classics? What are you doing to fill your days? Yesterday you were handing out some bottles for us. Today, what were you doing?
Today I check your numbers from yesterday.
Yeah. Not so good yesterday.
No, it was not that hard race.
Yeah.
I also have to check the numbers from, for example, Jimmy Whelan in Coppi Bartali. Yeah, and to prepare also the day, the race for tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, so speaking about my training for this block, it's funny, you sent me a message when I got my program a few weeks ago now and said, doesn't look like we have so much time for training. So in this period of the year, I'm racing almost 2-3 times a week with one-day races, and the training is really actually not so much. We did a lot of training in the winter in the base period, but so with me at the moment, what's the focus for you? Like, what are we trying to do in between the races? What's the key goal?
Yeah, the key goal is definitely to recover from the races.
Yeah.
And because of that, we had to look at the block before.
Yeah.
That this block is really massive. This block has focus on endurance rides.
Yeah.
And yeah, and now we use this block.
Yeah.
That it works now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's something I noticed from last year is when you have a period like this when you're racing, you can't change so much once it's happening because you just have to get through the races as well as you can and then hope that that brings you to the next race. So because you can't change it during, we had to do a lot of work before.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think that's why I had so much of the longer trainings, not actually so hard in the preparation for this. And then closer to, we did definitely some higher intensity stuff to prepare.
Yeah, but also the races is also training.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We don't race for training, but races have some training effect, and it should bring you more to your top shape.
And it's funny because like we talk to the sports directors and they always say, the races bring you into shape, but then now there's no easy races in the beginning of the year to come into shape. So I started the year in national championships in Australia and immediately it's full gas. And then I started in Europe, in Turkey, and that was some really hard days in the races then. So you already have to arrive with pretty good condition anyway, like before those races. And then, yeah, for sure, you can find another level from that. But no, it's been really good start for me. And yeah, that's enough about my training. But I wanted to ask you some questions. These are usually ones I ask to riders, but it's good to get the perspective from a coach. So as a coach...
I was rider too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, some of these are definitely more specific to your own riding. But what is your favorite session? So something that it's your go-to session, you like to prescribe it. Obviously, I know already from your coaching it's never the same thing, but your one favorite session if you had to pick one.
We haven't have the chance to do it so much, but it's for sure motor basing. Yeah. I like because it works.
Yeah, okay.
Nobody knows exactly why it works, but it works.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I know we never had that as an answer so far.
And yeah, you know this 8, 12, 16 minutes efforts with the cadence.
Yeah,
change.
yeah, the cadence
also
changes.
we change the cadence and we change the intensity.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of clever interval.
Yeah, yeah. I also really like that because, yeah, the session is basically 2 minutes 70 RPM. It's a tiny bit below threshold, 1 minute 50 RPM, a tiny bit below threshold, and then 1 minute 100 RPM, a little bit over threshold. But for 8 or 12 or 16 minutes, yeah. But I like it because if I had to do an 8-minute threshold effort or slightly above or below, it would seem mentally really hard. But when it breaks it up like that, I really like that session also. So it's good that we use it a lot. And then also going from that, what is your least favorite session? So it's probably something now that you'd never prescribe or something that you see people do and you think, why are you doing this session?
Fat max, something like that. Is in the past I never was doing that because it makes a rider to a tractor to a truck. But it's also good because it's for the higher endurance capacity. It's pretty good, but normally I don't like it so much.
Yeah, interesting. And then, so your own riding, what's your favorite loop? So you're living in Austria, yeah? And what's your favorite loop at home? I don't know the riding in Austria so much, but which is your favorite one to do now?
If I go on the bike.
Yeah, if you go on the bike, what's your favorite loop?
I don't go on the bike.
You don't go on the bike anymore?
No.
Okay.
No, I will start again.
Yeah.
But I live in Tyrol.
Yep.
And between Kufstein and Innsbruck, there is a valley, Brandenberg.
Yeah.
And it's a 40K loop, and it's pretty nice. It's like
you stay in the valley, or you climb up the side of it?
No, you go out of the in-valley. It's the main valley with the highway.
Yeah.
And then you enter this small valley.
Yeah.
And it's like a different world.
Yeah, nice.
It's so close, and it's
I did the Worlds in Innsbruck, but I didn't have the nicest time there. The mountains were a bit too big for me there, but I'm sure in training it would be really nice.
Yeah.
And the next one, so when you're prescribing the efforts, do you prefer them done at the start of the ride or at the end, or it depends on the session? Like, do you like to prescribe efforts with some fatigue already, or does it not matter so much when the efforts are during the ride?
No, it's important to have some efforts in the beginning, to do it fresh, or also with a big load in the legs.
Yeah, okay.
So it's more and more important to also do this. Or to have an eye on it.
Yeah.
I can remember years ago, we said the riders should do this, but not really bam, 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 there. And I start now more to have a focus on that, because it's really important. Also to have good numbers after a big load.
Yeah, with the fatigue.
Yeah.
And then the next one, when you set out a plan for a rider for a week or weeks in advance, and something's happening or something's changing, do you prefer that they stick to the plan, or do you change it up a lot depending on what's happening?
You have to change it.
Yeah.
It's super important. Okay, you need the feedback.
Yeah.
Same like we have, but you know me now since months. I'm not a fan of daily calls or but stay in contact if you have problems. Otherwise, if you call daily or every 5 days, you have this routine and you have no alert. If there is something, then it's really important. And then you have to.
That's interesting. With the people I coach, it's pretty similar actually. Some is almost daily. They need some questions answered or something done, and then with some it's I don't hear from them, which I know it means it's going well, and then if I do hear from them, it means something's really bad and that we need to fix it, and then adjust the program then.
Yeah. And then really daily or half daily you are in contact to check is it possible to to stick to the plan or to come close to the plan, what's
Yeah.
planned. But to adapt the plan is super, super important.
Yeah.
Also, don't be shy to do 3 rest days in a row. It is like it is.
Yeah, for sure. We get addicted to training. It's like an addiction. If you
Or numbers. I need in this week this number.
Yeah, you get super worried when you see the CTL dropping. But yeah, like it's if recovery is the thing that you need, then it doesn't matter what the numbers say. You need the recovery.
Yeah.
The next one, solo training or in a group? When you're prescribing to people, do you mind if they're riding with a group, or you prefer they stay solo so they can stay exactly in the zones?
For an endurance ride, I would say it can be a group ride.
Yep.
For special intervals, it's for sure better to do it alone than join again the group.
Yeah, it makes sense then.
But I'm not a friend of you have an endurance ride of 5 hours and you go. You are 2 guys in a training camp and you go.
The team we're sharing the hotel with here.
And you go in between 5 minutes, but you do your own numbers.
We share our classics hotel with another team here who is famous for doing this, and then also there's other teams that are known to do this as well. But I'm happy that we're not doing the same thing here.
Yeah.
So for the next one, early morning training or pro hours, like in the middle of the day, or it doesn't matter so much for you?
Well, yeah, if you do a morning ride or without food, right? Okay, for sure it's in the morning.
Yeah.
But normally it's up. I'm a friend of a rhythm that you do it at. You start at 10 or 10:30.
Yeah.
Oh, that your body is used to have this rhythm.
Yeah.
Stand up, wake up in the morning. Do this, that you have this rhythm.
Yeah, and the routine is good. I think especially in training, because when we're here, the routine kind of goes away when we're at races and it's a mess. So to get in the routine, I definitely like that. And if we can keep some routine here with breakfasts and dinners at the similar time, then it definitely helps, for sure.
But for some guys, it's also they are at home. They have no pressure because they can do whenever they want their training. And sometimes they start at 2 o'clock and in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Or in the morning, and it changes a lot. It's not good for the rhythm.
Okay.
You should stick to some structure.
No, that's good advice. Another one, if you have a rider and they have some bad weather and they've got training on the program, this probably happens a lot more in Austria than some of the places that I get to train, but when the weather is bad, rain, wind, do you change the session to something they can do on the trainer, or you say just put the jacket on and go out and get the ride done if you can?
Okay, this is sometimes dangerous for the health situation. I also, it's not about 3 days in a row do this block and otherwise it doesn't work. So you can also stop after 2 days and
change the days a bit.
Change the days.
Yeah, we did this a lot on the training camp and we were happy with this because we had some bad days in Calpe earlier this year of weather, and it makes sense sometimes if you have a 6-hour ride to just change the day to the day after or the day before.
Yeah.
And
I think in sports, or especially in cycling, you have to be flexible.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's definitely a big quality here.
Yeah.
When you have riders training, this is an interesting topic from the training camp too. Are you a fan of stops during the ride or no stops, finish the ride first?
Yes. It was also a big topic in Bora.
Yeah, interesting. On the training camps also?
Yeah, special topic for Peter Sagan.
Ah, yeah,
because
he was a big fan of the stops?
Yeah. We had guys, they were not so happy with that.
Yeah.
But then we measured the how important is Peter Sagan or the other rider, and then we made Peter happy.
Yes,
okay, there are some rules. If the weather is shit or it's windy, then you have to take care, or you go inside, and make it short. Not that it's 45 minutes break.
Yeah.
So if you stop for espresso or whatever, or a small bread, then it's fine. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And from the training perspective, if I'm riding at home, is there certain rides that you would say definitely don't stop on this ride, or not as important?
For sure, there are some rides
Yeah.
where you don't, you shouldn't stop, but normally I think if you are alone, you will not stop, or just for a short coffee, and that's it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's not that big problem.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one, when you're prescribing training, do you prescribe any low carb or fasted rides, or is everything always well fueled when you're prescribing the training?
No, it should be different. It should be, if it's a endurance ride with the focus on fat metabolism, then it should be really a low carb ride. The opposite thing is this to train the gut with big amount of food or race food.
Yeah, so when you're looking at the low carb training, then just for people, how many carbs per hour? How many grams of carbs per hour?
20, 30, 35 grams.
And then obviously when we're doing now, we're able to do up to 120 for the really hard sessions. So, and then also, I noticed that with our nutritionists as well, it's not 120 say for the whole ride on a hard day, but maybe just for the effort section we do it like that, and then, and then for the rest adapt. Okay, and then also, do you prescribe, I know the answer to this, but do you prescribe cross training, like any other training than cycling, so gym or running or hiking or anything like that?
Describe, you mean?
Cross training, so anything that's not on the bike. So what kind of training do you recommend to people that's not just on the bike?
It's a big topic in middle Europe, where it's really winter. Or it was winter, it's changed a little bit. But these guys are often go for cross-country skiing or ski mountaineering. I'm a fan of it. It's good because you are fresh from the mental side, because if you have to train in shit weather or on the rollers, it's not so funny like be in the mountains and in the sun.
And for me, I noticed I don't have much skiing in Australia during the summer, the European winter, but you also had some hikes and some runs on the program for me also, which was nice. A nice change from just riding. Now I'm not going for runs in between the classics. It's a little bit different during the race blocks, but also we've done a lot in the gym too. So that's something that you prescribe that to everyone, I assume. You really encourage the strength training?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe there is sometimes a guy who says no gym for me because I'm an outdoor guy. Okay, then I will not punish him to do it.
Okay.
Because in Bora I had a super strong guy, really a sprinter guy, without gym, and he was super successful. It's strange, but but there are many ways to roam.
Exactly. And then the last question now, what is the best piece of advice you have? So maybe the best piece of advice you received, or the best piece of advice you could give to someone with their training?
They care about intensities. Or also have an eye on races. Races are super hard. They have a big impact. And give the body the freedom to really recover. It's so important. I'm not a fan of doing intervals after you have a super hard classic day. And 2 days later, you start with intervals. The body is not ready. Maybe he's ready from the science, from the numbers, okay, you need 48 hours to have this, but the nerves and everything needs longer.
This is a big one I notice as well with people, is they don't appreciate how much of a toll the races take on the body. Because you can look at the numbers and maybe the TSS was pretty high, but not so much higher than a training day. And you also had the 2 easy days before, and you can think, okay, I'm ready to train. But then so many times I think that, and then I go out and then the legs just don't work. Like nothing happens. Yeah. And then also mentally you're still a bit fried from the weekend and from the races. So I think that's good advice to finish with. So Helmut, thank you for coming on. And
thanks for the call.
Yeah.
For the talk.
I hope everyone can learn something from Helmut, because I've learned a lot from him in the short time I've been working with him, and looking forward to working with you for the rest of the season also.
Happy for that. And I'm happy to have an athlete who is a coach colleague.
Yeah.
This is really nice.